Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to the Weird Kid Show. My name is Dave, and I am your host of this crazy show. So, August is declared Apothecary Month. Last week, my daughter Haley joined me. I showed you how to do some super cheap, super simple apothecary bottles. Good for filling a table in the background to prepare for your nice ones in the front, just as like a filler. Today I'm going to do more of an elaborate one. So this week I'm going to use this bottle here. This is a bottle I got at it was Goodwill. It was only a couple of bucks. Nice sturdy thick glass bottle with a cork. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to spray paint this black, and I'm not going to just use cheap paint. I'm going to use some of that 2X and give it a couple of good coats. Alright, so that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray paint this bottle black. Thank you guys for being here. Check this out. Alright guys, and we're back, and yeah, I went ahead and painted the bottle. It's still tacky. What I bought for this one here was a flat black. I wanted a flat black. I'm going to dry brush it when it's done to give it some age. It's got nice like filigree looking designs on two sides, and then it's just solid in the front here. So I'm going to utilize the front for the main focal point, and then I think I might do a little messing around with the filigree and some paint on the sides, bring out that texture a little bit before I seal it at the end. For this one I got my trusty glue gun handy. I'm going to get into a few things here that I've never done before. One of them is a little bit of leather work. So I've got some piece of leather here, a hole punch, and then some leather cord. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. But what's the focal point here? Well, you can do this too, guys. Come Halloween there at the dollar store, they're going to start selling this these little skeletons, and it's a garland. It's gonna have twine and then another skeleton. I don't know how many skeletons comes on a piece of twine, but these little guys come in handy for a lot of different things. You can corpse them. You can make little fairies, which I'm gonna do that with you guys one of these days. There's a lot of things you can do them, or you can just use them for the garland. I thought about attaching it to this bottle, but you know what? Although that would serve a purpose, I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to go with this skeleton. This skeleton here, you're going to have a hard time finding this one. If you can, you're going to probably pay a lot of money for it. This is more of a collectible now. It's like one-night skeleton. It's probably going to be harder to find now, so you might want to go with this, but it's going to be the same principle. So I'm going to paint and mount him on here, okay? And then I've got some of these wings. I got these at Hobby Lobby, and they were only, or Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and they were only like $1 or something, like under $2. Okay, so I'm gonna paint these black. I'm gonna paint him black, and then to use as some kind of like a Grim Reaper-ish style shawl, I'm gonna use black creepy cloth. Okay, so this is gonna be like the angel of death. We can call this the kiss of death. I know I painted that on one of the bottles that we did last week. But I kind of like the name. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and paint these wings black, and I'm going to go ahead and paint him black, and then we're going to start getting into assembling this thing. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to paint this black, and we're going to come back and we're going to assemble this thing. So hang tight, guys. All right, guys, and we're back. All right, so like I said, I spray painted this bottle. I spray painted the wings. Okay, these wings, by the way, they take that paint really, really well. Drinks it right in. And I painted the skeleton black. He's not going to stay black, but he needs to have a base. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, this bottle is still a tad bit tacky. What I want to do right now is go ahead. I'm using some dark gray. It's an Apple Barrel product. This is acrylic paint. And I want to go ahead and dry brush this bottle with the gray to start giving it some age. I'm focusing on like the edges, and it's gonna make that filigree pop. Plus it's gonna give it some age, make it grimy, look like it's got some age to it. And focus on the edges, raised edges, but I pull it down so that it touches the bottle and kind of like sweeps, so it catches some of the bottle but not all of the bottle. That way you're getting it on everything, but it's going to be more profound on the edges than it is on the bottle itself. You can put dabs of it and then feather it in, work it in. That's one thing I love about dry brushing, is that your final color, if you're looking at something like over here, it's like pretty dark, you just keep taking that brush and working and feathering and working and feathering, and it'll soften it, and it almost works it into the paint, which is just really love dry brushing. It's really it's an amazing technique. It's so simple, but yet it does such a profound change to the project you're working on. You know, this is something that I used to do, that I learned in my model making days, growing up. And I'll tell you, it'll whatever you're working on, it'll just be flat and mediocre. But once you start that dry brushing, you dry brush on that thing and start weathering, or it just really gives it some dimension and makes it pop, if you ask me. So I don't need too much. I'm going to use this as the front. Plus it'll also start, once we start rubbing it all around on there, it seems to take the tackiness out. So if you get some tackiness from your fresh spray painted bottle, you'll find that I can touch it now and it's not tacky like it was before. But I'm satisfied with that. I like that. Okay, so this is what we got. Alright, now it's got some character. We can do so much with just this. Alright, we could leave it like this if you wanted to. This is something you could actually use. You could put your favorite beverage, alcohol, or whatever you want in there, and then put it on a shelf or something like that. Or you could use it as a candle holder. At this point in time, you could put silver highlights on it and use it as a candle holder. There's a lot of things you could do with just this alone. But we're going to make this is a potion bottle, but not only a potion bottle, but a deadly one at that. This one here is serious business, ladies and gentlemen. We don't mess around with this. This one might have the power. I keep wanting to call this the kiss of death. And so maybe that's what we're going to call it, the kiss of death. But the properties of this potion is so profound, and the witch that uses this potion has the choice of the appearance of death or actual death, and maybe even to bring back from the dead. So this potion is very powerful. So anyways, this is our guy. Okay, he's not going to stay this way. I want to paint him to look like an actual skeleton, but I can't do that right now. What I have to do first is I have to assemble this like a puzzle. So let me set this up here for you guys. Alright, so I need to position where he's going to go. Alright, so I figured he'd stand in about there. I can tilt his head back a little bit and then attach it there as well. Figure out, do I want his arms up? I think I want his arms up. Alright, I can decide where to find a position on there. So I think I like that, okay? But that's not how he's staying. Alright, this is not how he's staying. He is going to have wings. Oops, he slid down. And then his shawl, or his robes, is going to be this creepy cloth. So what I actually need to do is, I think the first thing that I need to do is attach these wings to the bottle. And then I'm going to attach the creepy cloth. And then dry brush the skeleton to look the way he wants, the way we need him to look. And then I can position his robes. Alright, so like I said, it's like a little puzzle. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to go ahead and just glue these in the position that I want. I'm going to get him all in position, and then we're going to go ahead and paint him and then assemble him. So hang tight, guys. Alright guys, and we're back, and this is what I came up with here. And I decided to hold off on putting the like the robe portion on there. That way I can have it open, accessible, and I could figure out exactly the positioning at the end when I put that on. Anyways, and I'm not going to put that on with hot glue. I'm not going to want to use hot glue to attach that. I'm going to want to use something like more like Mod Podge or Elmer's or whatever, some kind of white glue. Alright, so now I'm ready to detail this skeleton. And I'll tell you what, even if I'm using these from the dollar store, which is I'm assuming you guys are going to try this with, I still always spray paint these things, and then paint them and dry brush them. Alright, because it just makes them look better. You guys can also, like, with some heat, manipulate the positioning and stuff. We're going to get into that too. I really want to touch on these one of these days. But anyways, we're dealing with this guy right here now, the Kiss of Death. Alright, so let me get him in there so you guys can see him. Alright, but now he just looks like a black skeleton, which, if that's what you want to do, if you want to go all black, you can do that too. But not me. I want to bring them up. So one of the things I use, if you guys haven't watched my show long enough, one of my go-to colors that I love is burnt umber. Alright, so I'm just going to take a little bit of burnt umber, and I want to take like a wider bristle brush, because this isn't, we're doing a dry brush here. Okay, and the black is enough of a shading for an undercoat too, but more or less this serves as a primer, but I want to also soften it up in levels, and burnt umber is going to be one of the go-tos. So I'm just going to dry brush the whole thing. I don't have to go crazy. I just want to get some on there. Alright. This won't take long to dry, and then we're going to be able to move on to the... Even if you get a little dab here and there on the bottle, it's not going to hurt that either. It's going to add to the grind. Now, I didn't glue the bottom here yet because I want to, again, figure out final positioning. I might add a drop of super glue here and there, just finally lock it in at the end. Right now, I'm just trying to bring this guy to life. A little bit of burnt umber here and there. And then I'll give that a second to dry. And then once I start putting on, the next one I'm going to move up to is this one here is called Beachcomber Beige. I could technically, this might be too loud to kick it right up to, so I might want to add a little bit of burnt umber to my first coat of this stuff to start stepping up the beige, if you will, color. So that there is not gonna, we don't have to let that dry too long. It's already like pretty much dry to the touch. So I'm gonna move right into this and get some of that beige down here. And then I might even have enough on my brush tip, because I didn't clean it yet, to work that in there Just grab a little bit of that burnt umber and step it up. Don't want to hit it hard with the beige just yet. And we'll go ahead, wipe most of that excess off, and then we'll go ahead and this is where you're going to start seeing this thing pop a little bit. Alright, not too much. Just dusting it now. Once we get that beige on there, and then we'll finish it off with a light dusting of white, very light. And that's going to finish it off. You can corpse these things too, you know. These little ones here, like I said, when we get into making fairies, we're going to corpse some things. And you could corpse this if you want. If you wanted to make a zombie bottle, then you could do that. You could corpse this. Alright, so now I want to clean my brush now to get that burnt umber off there and that dark mixture. So I want to start off with a clean brush. Then I'm going to just go right straight for that beige. Call it beach comber beige. And then I want to go ahead and start dry brushing that. Alright guys, so I'm going to work on him a little bit there, and when I'm ready for that white, I'm going to come back and we're going to do that final dusting, and then we're going to move on to the next part of this build. So hang tight. Alright guys, so this is where we're at. And now I'm going to go ahead in there and get in there with some of that white. I just kept stepping it up and everything, and then ultimately, you know, you're going to put on however much to what makes you happy, you know. That's the main thing. As long as you're happy with it, you can go less, more, or you can just keep it black, or you can do something crazy and have a red skeleton, you know, if you wanted to. There's no wrong way, right or wrong way. So now he's ready to go. What I think I'm going to do is I want to put some of this around him, but I can't use all of this obviously, so I'm going to cut a section of this out. How much worth it? I want to take a piece and just fold it a little bit inwards so that I can have like a clean edge. And then I'll just put it behind his head, work it down. Okay. Pull it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I might tack it with super glue, or you can use white glue, but it's going to take you a little bit more time for it to dry. Alright, so I'm going to play with this, guys, and figure out its final position, get it all in place, and then we're going to come back and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do next, because we're not done yet. So hang tight, guys. Alright guys, and we're back, and this is what I came up with. Alright, so yeah, I just laid it delicately, posed it, checked to see how it would look if I did this, how it would look if I did that, and then just tacked it with super glue. I glued all the joints, so now it shouldn't move, it's secure, it's locked into place. The creepy cloth robe is in place. Alright, so he is done. Alright, but we are not done, or at least I am not done, but you could be done now if you wanted to. That's enough there. That's pretty cool, if you ask me. Alright, so, but I'm going to go a step further. I've never done, like, I've worked with leather before, but I've never done anything kind of like those medieval bottles where they have, you know, the leather and then there's the holes punched and it's all laced together. So I'm going to try to do that. I got a scrap piece of leather. Alright, and I've got a leather punch. And then I've got some leather cord. and then I have to decide which size hole I'm going to work with. I also use this for when I make my latex masks. I use it for the straps. With mine I go like this and then around the back, and the hole punch comes in handy when I'm punching those. Alright, this here was like a remnant. I got this in a big bag. If you go to Hobby Lobby, and I think they have it at Michael's too, they have a section where you can buy a bag of scrap leather. I know not everyone is a fan of using leather, but if you so choose to use leather, that's one of the places you can go to get it. So this is like all beveled here, so I don't know how this is going to look. All I'm going to try to do here is wrap this around and then try to figure out, I'm going to cut it here just for the heck of it. See, this could be an utter failure, I have no idea, guys. So I'm going to cut it. So I got a piece like that. It's not even square, it's crude, but we're talking about an ancient potion. Alright, so I'm just going to punch a bunch of holes in this leather. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, matching up with these holes here. So basically we're just going to be like lacing up the boot. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and punch these holes. I'm going to wrap it around there, and I'm going to see if I can lace this cord in there and get it all tight and snug, and then hopefully it'll translate well. If not, we're going to have to think of something else. But this is the way we do it, guys. I don't even know for sure how it's going to translate. So, but the only thing you can do is try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We just move on to something else. So hang tight. We're going to see if this worked out or not. All right, guys, and we're back, and here we have it. This is what we got. All right, so yeah, basically all I did was I measured the leather around the neck, and I punched holes, and then I slid it on there and then laced this leather cord in it, just like lacing up your shoes, and then I pulled it tight around the neck of the bottle, tied it up and wrapped around, crisscross, and tied it off, and then just left some hanging down. And then I went ahead and just added some beads. We got this like onyx looking bead here, and then some silver, just to kind of give it some contrast. Now I love it, I like it, but the leather looks too new. So I still got some of that gray paint from when we dry brushed the bottom. I'm going to use that on the leather to tie it all in, make it look like an old ancient bottle. Even just over the cord and everything. Even there, I can go on the wings a little bit, but I want to get that leather. Just give it some age a little bit there. Not too much. Just take the sheen off of it. Make it a little bit more dingy. Even on the beads, cords, everything. A little bit on the cork, around the edges of the cork too, if you want. And then voila, that's it. This is done. The kiss of death. Poison at the highest level, I'm gonna tell you. Now this here, I would see a witch having, but to you guys at home, this is something you could do yourself. Like I said, pretty soon these are going to become abundant, and these little crazy guys can serve many purposes, and this is one of them. The wings were dirt cheap. They were only under $2. The leather, you can find some scrap. You don't have to use leather, you can vinyl. You don't even have to do this. You could wrap it with some twine. You can refer back to the first video I did on doing cheap and easy. You can incorporate the two. It's all up to you, but there's no reason why you shouldn't have a whole table full of awesome looking Apothecary bottles come Halloween. Alright, so anyways guys, Come back next week. We're going to do some more Apothecary. Next week I'm going to go over how to do a little display, some of the little things that can go with an Apothecary setup. All right, something to help the aesthetics of the what you're trying to go for. Please go check out my brothers, Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks, and Vic Springston from Monster Misfits. Please definitely keep checking up on Vic, because Vic is he's working his tail off this year to get Haunt for Heroes up and running come October for season. So he's posting a lot of updates, and him and his team are grinding to build that haunted attraction in Alabama. So go show some love. Please, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe and hit the bell. It's going to notify you when I upload future videos. And I've got so much to come, guys. I'm just getting warmed up, you know. I've been at this for a little over a year, and I've not missed a week yet of uploading, so I don't plan on slowing down. We got more crazy ideas to come. So anyways, guys, the kiss of death, and until next time, I appreciate you. Peace.